Hello, and welcome back to Two Andrews, One Barbell. I'm Andrew Rowe.
I'm Andrew Blackwood.
This is episode 21,
Yeah,
and we haven't done this in so long.
it's been like a month since the
Yeah.
last one. It's actually been too long.
Yeah,
We were,
you were isolating from your diarrhea from Morocco.
yeah, we were, we were trying to get a guest on. That's actually what was happening.
Yeah, which would have been like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But turns out the logistics of trying to organize people's schedules is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Who knew? Not
It is
me
tough.
anyway. So I think we'll still try line up that guest in the near future. Hopefully they'll be on. But
Yeah.
we said, fuck it, we'll just come on, the two of us, talk again,
Talk
unfortunately.
again, unfortunately. So whoever,
Assault your
people
ears.
click into this, here there's no one else on it, and they leave.
It's straight off this
Yeah.
thing. So we're back again, been a while. We were like, what the hell do we even talk about?
Yeah.
But we'll figure something out. We'll ramble, we'll catch up. See, it's
We'll
been a little
talk.
while since
Yeah.
we've caught up on everything. So
See, I'm kind of scared
because
because in the interim, Andrew and I went to see Theo Von. And I hope everybody knows who Theo Von is. If you don't, literally just Spotify or YouTube Theo
Yeah,
Von.
yeah.
Watch the first thing that comes up. It's perfect. But now, like I've been watching so much Theo Von content. So he does a lot of podcasts. He's on a lot of podcasts. Like
Yeah,
everyone, you've been watching
Yeah.
funny things, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I want to make sure my inhibitions are still there because
I watched the Tom Brady roast, and then I started watching Kill Tony. Have you ever watched Kill Tony?
I've been recommended to watch it.
So it's like a live podcast. Okay, it's the craziest thing. It's a live podcast. Basically, us sitting at a table like this. It's some comedian, Tony Hinchcliffe, and then he has like other comedian guests on, and they're in like say an arena or a hall or something like that, and they'll get like new comedians who sometimes they've never done it before. They come up and do like stand up for 1 minute. They have 60 seconds to like tell jokes to a crowd, and some of them are so god awful. And then the comedians on like the panel just roast them. They interview them for like 10 minutes and then just take the piss out of them. And there's so much obscene stuff that gets said in these. So there's Theo, the Tom Brady roast, which was reckless as well. I know this, and it's got me riled up to say some out of pocket
stupid shit.
So you got to be careful in this one that we don't let any anything.
But I'm just prefacing.
If something slips out, it slips out. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all in.
We'll try to slip it back in, but I don't know.
Yeah. So Theo Von, that was very funny.
It was very funny. But then there was a guy, man, I've never experienced this. I didn't even think it was possible, right? We were sat, and there's like a few comedians before him, nothing.
Yeah.
He comes on, and someone like roars behind us. I just thought, he's so excited to see Theo. Then after a few more roars, I was like, oh, maybe, it's someone that I shouldn't even be laughing at, right? Let me just say that.
What do you mean by that?
I just mean maybe he didn't have as much inhibitory control as us.
Okay, yeah.
But then
That was
he
a
was
good
like,
way around that. That was the science talk coming through.
do with that what you will. But then he was like just like saying shit and like pretending to laugh.
He was going.
Once you could take it.
Yeah.
10 minutes, I was bubbling up,
After every joke, he would.
trying to annoy everyone around.
As loud as he possibly could.
So I was like, how much till I say something?
Yeah.
Andrew and I didn't say anything. We were just kind of looking back.
Yeah.
I knew Andrew was at the end of his tether as well. Fortunately, the girls beside him started it.
Oh, they went in on him.
Yeah.
She was like, this girl was like, will you shut the fuck up? She's like, you're being a dick. And he was like, I'm just laughing at the show. I'm just laughing at the show. She's like, no, you're a fucking embarrassment. Shut up.
Yeah. And so we moved down like a seat.
Yeah.
And then they stopped. And then like an hour later, we heard them somewhere farther back. It's like they went to get a drink and then sat somewhere else.
Yeah.
Man, who spent €100
On a ticket.
to go to this show just to do that? I've never experienced that shit.
He obviously was just like very drunk. And when we were leaving, because I told him to shut up as well when he was talking. And when we were leaving, he saw me and he tried to like high five me or like shake my hand because it was so funny. And I was like, bro, what? No, that was proper annoying. Don't try to talk to me. Yeah. Get out of here. So yeah, if you were the type of person who shouts in like a cinema as well, I'll give someone death in a cinema.
If I went to see Deadpool Wolverine in July,
someone's talking,
they are getting them fists, man. Man.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't rate it. If you're someone who's making noise when other people are trying to enjoy the show, check yourself.
Yeah.
Check yourself.
That's actually what you're doing. You're just ruining everybody else's
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that. We then got in a fist fight outside. We kicked his head.
I won against Andrew.
Yeah.
God.
That was Theo. Then what else has been going on? How's your training been going?
Oh man,
Since the last one, you said
dog shite. Dog shite.
Still.
Yeah. So what even happened? It was like, it was not going too well. Felt pretty shitty consistently. Adam and I put something together that we thought, right, even me, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm after taking the things out that I think might be making me feel a bit shit, and it's definitely going to make me feel good. Still felt shit. Numbers were, like, on paper, regressing.
Yeah.
Or when I upped the weight, the RPE would increase exponentially, as in I'm not getting any stronger. So I was like, man, why am I powerlifting? Like, what am I actually doing here? I don't like this.
Yeah.
Adam and I had like a big chat, and he was like, man, like, long term you're still progressive. I was like, I don't even see how I can make any gains in a year. And he was like, bro, that's so bleak. When I sat down with it, I was like, what could I actually do? And I was like, my body weight's been trending down.
Brother, so this is, I felt like I needed to stage an intervention here.
You did.
Right, I was looking at you and I was screaming. I
got like 3
inside.
10-minute voice messages from Andrew. But
So,
for real though.
Because, okay, it started as well because you texted me and you were like, I weighed in 98 kilos this morning. And when I saw it, I almost dropped my phone. I was at 98 kilos. 98. So you were what, like 103.5 or something when you weighed in junior nats.
Yeah.
And what was that, 2 months ago? And now you're down to 98. So we dropped like 5.5 keys. And he's going, ooh, my squat feels so bad. 5.5 keys this brother is down. And he's going, oh, my training's so bad. I don't know how to make my training go good. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, brother.
You know what I think one of the issues was?
Yeah.
I was trying to explain that, like, well, you can come down, weight, and still be strong, right? Which I think is possible, but I think maybe in a more controlled manner.
Yeah.
And I think over time,
yeah,
where all of a sudden I was 5.5 kilos lighter.
Significant.
Of course, squat felt. Not only were my leverages different, that was something I literally just had to accept. I was smaller, but then also I was probably in such a deficit. This is something I only considered the other day. I only got back tracking, and let's say I'm aiming for like 4,000 right now. Man, at first, those first 2 days of tracking in the last 2 weeks, low twos. Low twos.
Brother, what the fuck?
So obviously, never mind the weight loss, my body couldn't fuel or recover from the training. So it was like, oh, we've lost, because going into JNAT it was like 5,000 calories.
Yeah.
So it was, I halved it.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that
My
came back
body
to you.
was
I was like, are you tracking your food? And you're like, no.
I'm eating enough.
And then I was like, why are you not tracking your food? And you're like, no, I don't want the pressure. And you're like, I'm not in the, okay, this is what you said. You said, I'm not in the headspace for competing yet. I won't be for another few weeks. And I was like, what does that mean? So you're just not going to eat right or train right for the next few weeks. Then we're going to be 8 weeks out. And then it's going to be crunch time.
90
and then
kilos. I'm in the wrong weight class.
The time is gone.
Yeah.
So then you go, oh, I suppose I'll try get my fitness pal going. That's what you said. And I said, brother, what the fuck does that mean?
But
what does that's the vaguest
That's
statement.
what he felt, but he actually goes, what's this look like for you?
So I had to do that. I had my initial, what the fuck? And then I toned it down. And then I was like, interesting. So how could
Interesting. I see what you mean. What do you mean, get my fitness pal going? Fingers like breaking the phone as you type.
So anyway, then we said it, because I was like, okay, imagine we saw anyone else and they went from 103.5 down to 98.
My first question would be, oh, how do your lifts feel?
Exactly.
That would be it. It's like, oh, you must feel shite.
Yeah, awful. And then vice versa, how would we feel if someone went from 98 to 103.5 over a period of time?
Probably see some gains.
Pretty good, yeah. Because you said as well, you're like, I just don't see how I can get things moving in the right direction again. And I said, well, I'm going to throw my phone out the window if you don't see how you get things going again. So then we talked through it a little bit, and we settled on. Because I think you said as well, you were like, oh, I just don't even think a surplus is going to work or something. And I was like, brother, I was about to send you episodes of our own podcast, you talking, the words coming out of your mouth.
Maybe, I'm finding it hard to like remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it was like, I think I was just feeling overall negative.
Yeah.
That was it. And I think I also was associating, this is another thing, I was associating a surplus with feeling fat.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to feel fat anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an alternative. Yeah. But I think very rightly, very simply, you just said, man, like, it doesn't have to be that. Like when last time you were bulking, you were just eating as much as you could possibly fit.
Yeah. So that was the next, important thing to note, I would say, was since you weren't tracking before, the surplus was just intuitively eat as much as possible. So then the rate of gain was excessive. And then that also ties in with, say, the last 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks of a competition prep where your volumes are coming down, the accessories are coming down, when calories are still high, but there's not the stimulus to like convert all of that additional fuel into muscle. It's likely gonna lead to some excess fat gain. So then the previous experiences of a surplus were just putting on unnecessary fat, which we don't need. But then we chatted through, we were like, hey, what if you gained 0.25, 0.5% average body weight a week? We stayed on that trajectory. And then for me, one of the most important things is, say when you see that trajectory like going up and you're on the track of the body weight that you want to be gaining, you go, okay, I'm doing all the things that I know I should be doing that should correlate to an increase in training performance. Then you come into the gym, you're confident, and you feel like the weights should be moving better, and then that belief probably contributes to the weights actually moving better.
I'd say if I don't see any progress in 2 months, I'll never go to the gym again.
I usually need to do like the 10,000 calorie challenge for like one block, and then your bench will go up like 5 keys.
It's pretty simple. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
be all right.
Yeah, it was interesting as well. There was a powerlifter, an Irish powerlifter in the 120s, Ryan McCann, for anyone who knows it. He competed recently, and he put up like a recap of like the lessons that he learned throughout the prep. And the final lesson was that 99% of the time, more calories and load management will solve his problems. So yeah, that would be the case for myself.
Yeah, 99%.
Just more food, enough sleep. Yeah, manage loads.
It's seldom like adding a bit of food, sleeping a bit more.
Yeah,
and managing your load won't be the solution. Yeah. Obviously, there are times
there's something else.
You know, like you're doing all that, but your exams are beating your ass.
That's been happening a lot with a lot of lifters I have. People in college, people doing the leave insert even. Yeah, everyone's gone through it. Everyone's gone through the ringer recently.
Do you still make them call you Mr. Blackwood?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Sometimes Daddy as well.
We're talking about leave insert season 0.
No, not that. No. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. That's training. You're training, going better now that the calories are up?
I'm on week 1, and I pretty much started a surplus on Sunday.
Okay.
So I'm just setting a baseline this week.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine, yeah.
Notice any benefits? No.
I'm feeling more optimistic.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Like you're on the right path.
Yes.
Yeah, my training, basically everything is just going good. We're like 113.5 at the moment, which is basically the heaviest that I've ever been. It's just like below my Euros weigh-in.
And look very different.
Yeah. It does look very different. I feel way better about body composition now than I did back then. But that's, I think, plays into that thing that we were just talking about of between Worlds last year and Euros, it was low volume, not many accessories, but just eating as much food as I could. Well, not eating as much food as I could. I was still tracking, but I was just putting on unnecessary amount of fat just to try, see if I could gain anything, like strength-wise, over that turnaround. So I just didn't feel good about body composition. But now, I've cut back down, went down to 108, then built back up to 113.5 this time, and the accessories that I'm doing, I've just found so many accessories that are clicking. Like, before I would do exercises that I just felt like I should be doing. Just like doing standing dumbbell bicep curls and not really feeling it. You get to like I'd push it to failure and I'd be getting to the last reps. But like, I'm not feeling the sensation that I want to be feeling in my biceps. It's just, it's getting hard and I can't do any more reps, but it's a little bit like elbowy.
What sensation do you want to be feeling?
I want to feel it engorged with blood. I want to feel it burning. I want to feel it struggling to contract, right? That's what I want to be feeling. That's what I'm trying to be
Quivering.
Trembling, right? That's what I want it to be feeling. And I've been finding exercises that give me that feeling. Like if you're not feeling the pump in the area that you want to be feeling the pump, brother, what are we doing here? You got to change something up. So now I've been doing, these like incline dumbbell curls, right? Setting it like 2 notches down on the bench. I'm going to say 30-degree angle, okay?
Okay.
Line back on that fella, okay? Just flexing my tries as hard as I can, and then lifting my chest up as hard as I can. Even that movement right there, that gets my biceps going, all right? So then you're doing that, hold that for 2 seconds, and then, come up to the top as high as you can, and then like 4-second eccentric, okay? And then at that bottom position, squeeze those tries, push the chest up as high as you can, do that until you can't do it anymore.
Weight.
So like 10 kilos, 10 kilos only. I might get like 12 to 15 reps in that like first set. So I'll do that straight through 12 to 15.
Guarantee that second set is 7 reps.
Yeah, second set, maybe 10. Then I'll get the 7.5s and I'll do as many as I can with the 7.5s until I reach failure then. And then the third set, I'll maybe get like 8 with the 10s and then I'll go with the 7.5s until I get to...
drop set.
Oh, brother.
Ooh, okay.
Brother. Yeah. Oh, I've been killing it. And then I'll go and I'll do reverse grip.
Nice.
Preacher, easy bar curl. Oh, come on. Like getting the forearm going.
The
like
pad 45 or the pad straight down?
Pad's about 45.
Okay.
Oh, feels good. Just come up as high as you can and then like 4 seconds on the way down. And then I saw something about, for whatever reason with the brachialis or whatever that forearm muscle is, that like partials not in the lengthened portion. So like almost the shortened range seemed to be quite good. So I'll do that. I'll just go until I can't go anymore. And then I'll like, try to get it up to the top and then do as many partials as I can in there. And like the arms have been growing like crazy. Then I think I mentioned on this one the delt exercise that I've been doing, where it's like a machine lateral raise and then I like externally rotate my arms. Unbelievable. I'll just do 3 sets of that until I can't move my arms. Yeah. Like I'm trying to, they don't even come off my
that
side.
feeling so good, isn't it? When you're at failure at a side raise in a machine, dumbbells obviously very different. In a machine and you're pushing against it, but there's no strength left.
Moving. Nothing's moving. And doing that, specifically that exercise, was the first time I've ever felt like a real pump in my delts.
Nice.
Beautiful. Yeah. So been doing that, been doing my biceps, been doing my triceps. I've been doing a single arm cable tricep extension, but the way that I'm doing it, it looks goofy. I'd say it looks very goofy.
Go for it.
So see like the cable stack over there. Basically, I'll be bent over and I'll lean against the cable stack. So my shoulder,
clip that, just that bit.
My shoulder's against the cable stack.
Yeah.
I'll get the cable here and then do the tricep extension. Then give a bit of like wrist,
of course,
down the bottom. That just seems to light up the try. To come back up, so I come up to here, and then I'll like let the elbow like come forward, and then I get like a mad stretch from the armpit down the tricep, and I do that, and I do those to failure, and then I do a couple drop sets on that as well. Yeah. Oh, brother, crazy,
nice,
crazy. I'll show you it after.
I notice a lot of accessories become more appealing, or like they will feel better when you're open to handling less load.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of shoulder things, even like a shoulder press or something. It's like when you're doing dumbbell press, everybody's different, I'm sure. But for me, it's like when I do try to go heavy, all I'm doing is looking for reps. When it's lighter and you slow down the eccentric of a dumbbell shoulder press, man, it becomes like a hypertrophy feeling exercise instead of me just
trying to sling weight around. What I've been doing for everything is spending like 2 seconds in the fully lengthened position before I do the next rep. And just for everything, it feels so good. So good. So yeah, doing that as well.
I was only thinking about it yesterday, doing the hip thrust machine, which I really like. But after deadlifting, the stress of slugging plates over and then tidying them up. So I was going to like talk to you about what are some things, I think we've already spoken about it, but what are some things that come to mind when you're selecting accessories? And there's a few categories of things that like they can be rated on, I think. But accessibility, as in how much effort does it take to set this thing up? I'm not doing a trap bar deadlift, you know, as an accessory, because I'm going to need like a million things. Or
leg press. Not happening.
A plate load leg press?
Brother, not happening.
The most impractical accessory
There's one in Southside, the gym I train in, and all the bodybuilders use it. They have to put like 10 plates either side.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not carrying 20 plates around
doing that.
after,
Yeah, it's
after
not
I've just
happening.
squatted.
And then it's a leg press that doesn't have like, say like pins on the side of the machine that you can just like whip it off and then put it on the
So you
side.
have to put it on top?
You have to take it off to another machine. Like say when you take them off. Do you know what I mean? Say like they have the
There's no storage.
The pegs.
Yeah.
You have a few spare though, right?
But of course, but that is a serious consideration, and the hip thrust anyway. So the solution is I'll slow it down, and then it feels even better. And then I was like, oh, but like, okay, say if I was explaining to someone the pros and cons of slowing something down, what comes to mind is, okay, well, you're going to be handling less load. The muscle's going to be handling less load. I've just deadlifted.
Yeah.
Am I looking to handle as much load on accessories as possible? Seldomly. Very seldomly. When you find, say, that incline bicep curl, you're not saying to pick up the 2 kilos and just go.
Yes, and as slow as you can, and 12-second eccentric.
You are loading it up as much as you can in the parameters you've decided on. And when you decide on slower parameters, I feel like what you're doing is you may be opening yourself up to focusing on that like stretch, that pump more, which is why you're doing it in the first place. Again, you could be choosing an accessory for some other reason. It's probably why we're doing them if hypertrophy is the main goal. I think that matches it. And then Mike Israel always talks about like injury prevention. He's like, slamming weights, you're fine. Like us old dudes. Like
if you're slinging
that bounce
around,
at the bottom is not a fantastic idea, and it feels great when you don't do it as well. So.
Again, those like 2 seconds in the end of each
feels great.
part of the range of motion. Perfect.
Man, like a pull down. It's like,
oh, when you're standing at the top, amazing. Yeah. So start doing that with your accessories.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else?
Anything else come to mind about selecting accessories?
I think just being open to finding what works for you, because there's many times where I would see something that someone else does and try to replicate it, and it just doesn't feel good for me. Or say I'm doing something and there's like a bodybuilder who's in the gym who's like, oh, try do this thing, and like change the technique somehow, and I try it and it just feels awful, like it feels really bad, and they're like, perfect, and I'm like, no, feels like shit. Listen to your body, know what your body is telling you, and don't just do something because other people are doing it, or that's what you see other people doing. Search for that feeling, and if you're not getting that feeling, try a different exercise, try a different setup, try find something that does give you that feeling. And then when you've found that feeling, you know what to look for on other exercises as well then.
That's a good one though, because obviously as a beginner you need to follow like kind of these basic templates before you understand what you're looking for. It's like, okay, well, how do I use my chest? I'm going to need this press, maybe an incline, a fly or something, right? But when you've gotten to the point that you have more intuition about how things feel, and you know you have this like reference point of that feels good and this doesn't feel good, then you could break away from the template. If your chest workout has no barbell, or your biceps you don't touch the cables at all, even though a lot of people do, it's completely fine.
If you have exercise that you feel the target muscle in, you get a good pump, I was going to say like you're sore afterwards. Soreness is not like you're not necessarily looking for soreness, but say if you've done an exercise and then like afterwards you can't even tell that you've trained your biceps or you've trained your shoulders, it's probably not doing what you needed to be doing. That making sure that you're actually just training hard, that's an obvious one.
Not soft.
Making sure that you're actually training in a close proximity to failure. I find just honestly training until you can't produce any more force, that is generally what I go to for the majority of my accessories. Just take them to RP10. Just do that and just keep doing that for a long time. You'll probably be around.
Probably will. We should probably eat some food as well though.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? If someone is training so hard and then not eating enough food, Andrew, that would be a real shame.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard. It was like moderately hard.
Yeah, so that's that. What else? What else is going on in the world of powerlifting? People are quitting.
People are quitting, man.
People are dropping
People
like
are
flies.
dropping like flies, brother.
We talked about it a little bit in the last episode.
Yeah.
Like, when would we quit? But now there is people
There is
quitting.
people stop.
In the untested side of
Man.
things.
Nick,
What?
I saw he stopped. I was like,
Yeah.
for a year, I was like, man, this guy must be really sick.
Yeah.
And he posted like a recovery squat there. It was like 300. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. So he said so he had like pneumonia or something. So Nicholas Dupree, the guy that we had in the last episode. Yeah. He's out for a year. He said he's taking a step back. He's not going to do powerlifting for the next 12 months or however long. He said he's going to do some bodybuilding though. Did you see that?
No.
He said it's
All bro has to do is take his clothes off.
yeah, so he said he's considering doing some bodybuilding. And then there's Denise Herber, who's another big untested lifter. She's stopping as well. So some heavy hitters.
There's some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I think powerlifting, like, it's... it's like, I don't know why it's crazy surprising that people are stopping. It's like, people live lives, like, you know.
Especially in their age demographic, I'd say. Like, they're,
Yeah.
whatever they are.
Where more things become important, you have more responsibilities.
Yeah.
For us, it's easy to say, like, oh no, I'm just training 6 days a week. You know, that's what I do. But, like, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, it's something since the last episode, I'd say it's something that's been on my mind more.
Man, I'll tell you, quitting was on my mind as well, brother.
Oh, yeah, it's something that's been on my mind more. There's, like, I had a thought the other day, and I was like, how long can I actually keep doing this? How long can I keep training 6 days a week, eating over 5,000 calories, like devoting so many hours of my day to like training and performance, and having that be like priority over like so many other things? And it's a difficult one. And I suppose it is, like, it coincides with the end of like the junior period. And we kind of said it almost coincides perfectly, because when you reach the end of that, you're 23.
Yeah.
It's kind of time when you have to grow up a little bit. You have to.
At least in our culture, probably the average person around 23 is looking to maybe take a step up in adulthood and responsibilities. Not everybody,
coming out of college.
Some people are 5 years ahead. Some people did that when they're 18, and we're just here living at home. It's
so that's another thing that was interesting from like traveling around, being in Australia. Tons of people, at least from what we were exposed to, move out when they're like
give a bit of context.
18,
we
19.
live at home.
Yeah. So we live at home in Ireland. People live at home to mid, sometimes late 20s, particularly like with the housing situation.
Made worse with the housing situation.
Yeah. So like in Ireland, it's basically impossible to. Well, not impossible, but it's just so expensive.
It used to be a choice to stay at home.
Yeah. Now it's you actually just can't
there is no
afford.
choice.
Like you could get a 1-bedroom apartment in the city centre for like $3,500 a month. Like 1 bedroom, like just a bedroom, a room, like 1 room. That's nuts. $3,500 for a room. I swear, if you're in like Texas or something, you could probably get a mansion for that. So I'm like, bro, I don't want to be at home. I want to be a big boy. I want to move out in the world. I want to go do some adult
that's
stuff.
life, though. You're not saying anything crazy.
Yeah. So I want to grow up, but I'm like, how can I do that if I'm spending so much time prioritizing training and eating? Eating is the problem. Because when I was like in a deficit, it was so much easier. I think, again, I've talked about it before. But when you're trying to eat like 5,500 calories, it's a full-time job,
how much time
man.
you'd have if you ate twice a day.
I know. So like
a big lunch and a big dinner.
I would get so much more stuff done throughout the day.
12 o'clock and 9 o'clock or something.
Because there's the time that it takes to prepare the food, the time it takes to eat the food, which is significant. Time it takes to like clean up whatever you were cooking. And then just the brain fog after eating like a 2,000 calorie meal.
You have to go out and buy the food.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, so it's just taking so much time, and that's the problem is I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like it. Like it's fun, and it's fun like being the high level athlete where like I have to do this. Like that's the kind of the excuse is I have to do this because I have a competition coming up. I have world championships coming up. Okay, I have to do this. Okay, I'm an elite international level athlete. I have to do.
Oh no, I can't go. I have to train.
Yeah. It's like a convenient excuse for a lot of things. But it's like, brother, at some stage we gotta We got to do the real life stuff. We got to earn some money up in here. And I say that like I'm not earning money. Like I work full time. I work as an online coach. But to live in Ireland, we need to be scaling that up. We need, I don't know what you need to live in Ireland. I need to get out of Ireland. That's what I need to do.
The lotto, man.
Yeah. So that's something that I have actually been thinking more about. And I suppose the natural time that it would start to fizzle out or the gears would start to shift would be the end of juniors. And I remember there used to be like this, I don't know what the correct word is. There'd be like this shame associated with people who just like powerlift up until they're at the end of juniors and then they stop. They'd be like, oh yeah, he just did the juniors and then he quit. Oh, he's a quitter.
Yeah.
But like as I'm now approaching that, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like
it does coincide with a lot of life things, and I would say what's probably common as well is seeing like a lapse of competing between the ages of like 23 and maybe like, I don't know, just a few years, and then they probably dabble in competing again because those years are like people are trying to sort their shit out. And all it is like it's not saying, you know, it's impossible to powerlift. It's just it's the prioritization, and it's maybe it's the 6 days, maybe that's skewing. Maybe you could just do 3 days and compete or something.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is I hope it doesn't come across in a negative sense or like that we're saying at the end of juniors we quit. But it's like the way I look at it is like a slider. Say like training and nutrition and stuff is like up here on the priority list. If you try like, because that's something I used to do. I used to think, okay, I'll just like try more and just get more stuff done, even though I'm training and like spending all this time eating. I'll like just take on more stuff with content or more stuff with work or more stuff with social activities. And I would be able to do it for a short period of time and it would take like a lot of effort and like mental willpower. And then after like 2 weeks, you're just totally burned out and you hate training and you hate eating and you hate work and you hate content and you hate everything else because you burnt the candle at both ends and you basically fizzled out. Whereas at the moment, I'm in like a comfortable routine and everything is like settled and it's nice and it's easy, but that's with training up here. For other things to then start taking more importance, the training slider just has to come down a little bit. So maybe that does look like instead of 6 days, it's 4 days or it's 3 days, and you still train because I'll always still be training because that's what I enjoy doing. But yeah, there's going to be a point where the priorities do shift.
What do you think? Okay, so let's say you do choose, let me change the sliders, shift the priorities. Yeah. I'll train 4 days. Yeah. I think 4 days is what most people train. Yeah. You could still
get great work done.
Is it the eating? Is that what's coming to mind? Do you think?
I think eating is more of an issue because that's 7 days a week and that is multiple times a day. Like my body does not want to be this large. Like your body's it's like forcing it to get these calories in to bulk up to this size. So yeah, I would say coming down in body weight would probably be the most significant thing. Because it's a full-time job, like the training and nutrition side of things at the moment.
I wonder, is there a life setup that facilitates eating enough calories?
I'd say if I just start blasting Ozempic and then I drop down to the 93 kilo class.
Ozempic?
Ozempic. Do you not know what Ozempic is? No. It's like a skinny injection. All the celebrities are taking. Oh. Yeah, I think it just like makes your metabolism go like fucking crazy. And then that's how they're all getting skinny. But I think it messes you up, like your face goes all weird.
Fucks you up, man. Skinny drug.
You haven't heard of Ozempic?
Man, definitely has like rabies.
Oh yeah, man. Everyone's on it. All the celebrities are on the Ozempic.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, see, that's an well, maybe it's not an interesting.
Man, if I was a celebrity, I'd be pumping test, man. To the biggest actor in the world.
Chris Hemsworth, bro. Like just
Chris, man, huge. All of them. Fucking Mark Wahlberg, he's like 60.
Yeah. Who got The Rock? Man, he claims natty. He claims natty. Isn't that crazy?
Man, like, I mean, he's been that size since he was like 19, to be fair. Yeah. But ain't no way. Like, we're talking priorities. And man, imagine flying around the world all the time. Yeah. Say he trains like once a week. Like realistic. He puts up these videos in his own gym. It's like, how often are you home, bro? Like you're in Taiwan half the time. recording like cars blowing up and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rock. See, did you ever see the wrestlers? Like
Yeah.
the WWE wrestlers, who were obviously, they're all,
Man, did you see
they're all
have you
blasting
seen
you.
The Rock's dad?
Yeah,
Pull it up there, Murray.
Yeah, no, but like, do you see they're obviously all like massive and jacked.
Yes.
But then when they like have to go off cycle, and like Triple H will come out and he has like big saggy boobs. Yeah, that's always funny.
Guess what The Rock's dad's name was?
What?
Rocky Johnson.
Rocky. This is Theo Von.
Look at his dad, huh?
I know, yeah, mega.
Yeah.
All time greatest hits.
I just showed him a picture of Ronnie Coleman. You just said all-time greatest hits.
We saw him. We saw Ronnie.
We did see Ronnie
We saw
Coleman.
Ronnie. I think we might have said that already. We saw him in a Nando's.
I told you to leave his wheelchair brakes on, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
God.
couldn't go up to him. He was eating.
Yeah.
He was eating.
Yeah, he's with his boys. We wanted to go up though. Yeah, that was funny. Right, so what else? When are you going to quit powerlifting?
Oh, when am I going to start again? No. Okay, well, actually, because we were talking about this, it's like, I think the idea is that we will just like be powerlifting in some capacity going forward. But how that looks, you need to be like looser with and less strict, because I start my master's in September.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like. It's not as accessible of a university, and I don't know what the course looks like. I have labs this time around. Like a lab coat. No, I don't think I have a lab coat, but all that is going to be different. I assume it's going to be pretty time intensive, labor intensive, and then I'm going to have like a research project to do, a thesis again, whilst doing all this. It goes through the summer, so it's like
Through the summer.
So not only will my time be taken up with going to college, with doing the work, studying, I want to try get reading more. It's like I don't read enough content. I read papers obviously when I'm doing assignments and when I have to, but when I don't have to, I don't.
Yeah.
And I think I should. Not only papers, just like books and shit, right? Smart stuff, smart people stuff. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Yeah.
But then there's that, and then there's the stress. So you're talking about like mental energy and stuff. It's like even if I do all that and I have 2 hours left in the day, am I gonna want to spend 2 hours training or like cooking? No, probably not. So training will probably have to come down from 6 days to like 4. Yeah. And even then, it's like the stress.
It's funny because that is the reasonable amount.
That's what I program everyone. Yeah. So, but even then, it's like, okay, that's a normal amount. But I still think when I go into my masters, it's like I'm still gonna be like, it's not like those 4 days I'm not stressed. So it's just what it is being okay with the idea that things won't be linear nor predictable. Just roll with it. So when will I quit? Man, I don't know. Like we said, we kind of said this before we started, is say we quit powerlifting. Do we just not, like we come into the gym for a push session. Do you just like not bench? It's like you're still gonna bench, you know?
The training sessions will probably look exactly the way
Probably
that they
exactly
do
the same.
at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's what I just thought there. It's probably just not competing. It's not having the stress of a competition coming up. So you're still training, you're still doing all the regular stuff, but there's not the pressure associated with it.
Yeah.
That's probably what it would look like on my end. Because again, so like my training sessions are like a bit of bench and then like an hour and a half of accessory work anyway at the moment. So it'll probably be the exact same, just, not having the pressure and the need or like the guilt that, okay, I didn't train as absolutely hard as I could today. I know I have competition in 12 weeks. Oh no, I'm not going to be the absolute best version of myself stepping on the platform. Stuff like that. So it'll probably look, see, all right?
No, I don't know what happened there.
It'll probably look the same. Yeah, probably will look the same. I'm trying to think for myself. I want to do a shoot. I want to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Now I've decided I want to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
But not like do you ever see the photo shoots and the people are like glossy.
Yeah.
And they look like an AI generated. Bro, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then they're like leaning over, okay?
Yeah. Man, you keep bringing up like leaning and being bent over the cable stack, bro.
I'm trying to think, how would I go about it? Maybe I'll just get lean. I'll just get lean and then just take a picture of myself, like off my phone. That's probably what I'll do. Like.
Bro went from a photo shoot to just like do exactly what everyone does when they get lean. Bro, I might.
That's probably what I'll do. Like, to be honest.
Man, you could do like cooking videos or whatever with your shirt off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd watch that.
Yeah. So no, I just want to eat less food, man. Yeah, I just want to come down in body weight. I wonder how low in body weight I have to get to get lean.
I'd say a lot. Man, I was 98 and I still look fat as fuck.
I'd say low 90s. I'd probably be in good shape.
Yeah.
Fuck being low.
You
90s.
get there though, and you're like,
Yeah. So that's something we think about as well. Like, do you know, natural bodybuilding?
oh yeah. The context you sent me,
Yeah.
Nunez post.
Yeah. So like natural bodybuilding compared to enhanced bodybuilding is just, it's just sad. It looks a little bit sad in comparison. When I see the natural bodybuilders, I'm like, oh man, like, is that what's in store? Like, is that what? Because they look amazing. Right? They look amazing. They've got like super shredded and lean, but like the amount of muscle mass that they hold, obviously compared to enhanced people, it's just night and day.
And the progress though as well. It's like, how long can you do something without progressing?
Yeah.
That's like that's when I was feeling super pessimistic about powerlifting. I was like, how long can I do this and not move?
Yeah.
So like Alberto Nunez, that's his name?
Yeah. So he, for the last like 10 years, looks like basically the same. Like amazing physique, but still basically looks the same.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
like,
is he training just to maintain?
Yeah, or like gain like a pound of muscle over like 2 years. Crazy. And then like I just find, particularly like say natural bodybuilders, and I feel like bad saying it, but particularly in the first few years, like when they get super shredded, just looks kind of skinny. And I suppose that is with the frame of reference of enhanced lifters, which is unfair to compare because they have all sorts of like pharmacology helping them. Yeah. But it's like, oh man, like, I don't want to just look like skinny. So I'm thinking, even if I sat at like 100 kilos and I have like the slightest like outline of abs, fucking that'll do me, man.
Yeah.
To me, that'll be lean enough.
Yeah.
If I still look like full enough in a t-shirt and I have like an outline of abs, that's good enough for me. I don't need to get like shredded. I don't want to get like small shredded. Like if I had to be, because a lot of times people are in like the 70 kilos to step on stage. I wouldn't want to be 70 kilos. And then like the negative effects on like your hormones and stuff. Okay, so I said in the last episode that I would be interested in doing bodybuilding. I have no interest in doing bodybuilding anymore. I'm just going to take photos on my iPhone.
Yes.
That's going to be it.
Yes, that's what I predicted.
Yeah.
Photos on your iPhone.
Yeah. So we'll get like a little bit lean.
So would you say, well, powerlifting obviously. I was going to say, is there a point at which you decide, okay, I've gained all the muscle I can.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, I've put on 0 pounds at this body fat.
Yeah.
Would you stop?
Training altogether.
What would you do?
That's what I was thinking there. As I was saying, like, oh,
That's when you start Brazilian jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah.
That's like the lifting
when you go that pipeline from to BJJ. What? The pipeline from powerlifting to. You never heard that phrase?
You heard
before?
jiu-jitsu and you're like,
pipe. I'd like to get into that. But then, do you know, I've been hearing more like staph infections. Do you ever hear about staph infections? So it's like a skin infection when you're like rolling on the mats and there's like little bacteria and it just like gets in your skin. It's all gross, or you can get like ringworm and stuff.
ugh.
I don't want that. I don't want to be doing a sport where I get like staph and ringworm. I think if you just have a shower, you're all right.
I'd say just keep your pants on and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
That was going in. All
Yeah,
right.
staph and ringworm. I'm not so keen on that, but I like the other stuff. But then I wonder. Oh, this is going to bridge onto like a whole new topic.
Oh, here
but
we
like
go.
starting something like jiu-jitsu. Okay, say it takes like 10 to 15 years to get like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Do I want to start something where I'm like, I just said I don't want to be powerlifting 6 days a week. Do I want to start something where I'm like, I know it's a journey of like 10, 15 years ahead of me. And I suppose the beauty is in the journey. The journey is the destination, all that stupid shit. But like, do I want to do that? I look at it as one of them ones where you have to start when you're like fucking 5 years old.
Okay.
But then,
Maybe-
when I was going to say, it brings it on to a big one, sorry to cut across you,
Yeah.
is that I'm looking at it that like, say I'm 24, that I'm like so old. Brother, say we live to like 80 years old. I'm
You say you're
barely
24?
getting started. So when I'm done powerlifting.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't forget my age. I wouldn't start it until Worlds is out of the way.
Man, I'm 26. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. Jiu-jitsu though. Okay, but also, you know what else I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Is you're saying powerlifting, what it comes with the eating 7 days a week. It's like, I feel like you could do jiu-jitsu just eating normally,
Because
regularly.
you'd want to be smaller. You'd want to be in like a smaller weight class as like a bigger guy, like a taller, longer, lankier guy.
Longer. Did you not say you'd like a big hunk of meat wrapping around you?
Don't project onto me.
I'm not projecting anything onto you, bro. Yeah, you're just a man.
might start breakdancing.
Andrew's gonna go for the snuggles, man. That's what he's thinking. They're trying to wrap him up, and he's just like, oh.
Trying to catch a whip.
What a cap him.
I might start breakdancing or something.
Breakdancing? Yeah, break the floor.
What else sports
Man,
can
all
we
these
get
sports
into?
you need to be small for.
Yeah, what sports can we get into?
What could you?
Gymnastics.
No, what could you be big for?
I don't want to be big anymore.
No, like 100.
Rugby. Man, I wish I got into rugby when I was younger.
Rugby.
Yeah, I felt like I
break
could
my
have been good.
spine.
I wish I got into rugby when I was younger. What else could we even play? Go back to playing field
Shot
sports? Boring. Shot put. Brother, what the hell?
I feel like big people do that.
Yeah, they do, but like, that's fuck.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
What did you just say?
No hate to my shot putters out there. That's boring as fuck.
Man. I feel like you could probably play the drums. Like big dudes can play the drums. Man, think about it though, right? So you could
Darts,
man. You're drinking pints.
With a pint.
Kung Fu Panda. Poe.
What about him?
He's fat.
He's a cartoon.
Yeah, but he's still he's the Ninja Warrior with it.
Oh, fuck's sake. Gymnastics, calisthenics. I would like to be good at calisthenics.
But you have to be small.
Yeah, I can lose some weight, man. I've got some excess.
Yeah. I just mean like, let's say 100 kilos. What could you do comfortably where your knees don't cry at 100 kilos, you know?
Calisthenics. Oh, too heavy though.
Reinforced bar.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Yeah, 100 kilos
If I could do it.
shredded.
Man, if I could do like a backflip.
Swimming?
Swimming. Sinking more like.
Nah, man.
Yeah, fuck.
Like clay pigeon shooting.
Yeah.
Do that shit.
Archery. Yeah. These are the widest sports ever.
Snooker.
Horse riding.
Man, I'm thinking, nah.
I killed horses.
The fucking zebra for that.
Man, horses are jacked.
They are, man. Big horses.
National stud recently. And,
Me?
No, I did. Man, they're so jacked. Like their legs are fucking crazy. Anyway.
It's all huge.
Yeah, fuck. What were we talking about? Sports. What
Sports that you could do at 100 kilos.
Yeah. Fuck. What else? Pool?
Pool, yeah, pool.
Yeah. That's actually hard though.
Yeah.
What else?
Do you think you could box?
If I
Pretty long arms.
train for it, yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get hit in the head.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun. Karate.
Yeah, I feel like you could do, but you would naturally lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Just moving that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what other sports. Anyone listening, if you could think of sports you could do at 100 kilos that don't hurt.
What is a natural weightlifting?
Weightlifting?
Yeah.
I'd say I would need surgery on my knees if I tried weightlifting.
On my shoulders as well. Bro. I grip the bar right here. Doing snatches like that. CrossFit, high rocks.
High rocks.
High rocks, that'd be it. Running. No.
Yeah, again, I would need to
I wouldn't
lose
be able to
probably
do
20 kilos.
But see, that's part of my plan.
Man, how fat? I'd say,
Fat?
man, I'd say if you started running and training for high rocks, you'd lose 20 kilos in a year.
Oh yeah, probably.
Faster.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you'd like turn up to a competition and people are like,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wearing the same clothes, you look homeless.
The triple XL, looking kind of baggy. Yeah. Yeah. See, I remember we were talking before about like hybrid training, and I was like, the idea of running just doesn't interest me.
Man,
Like,
I know what you want to call it. I can feel it. It's actually tangible how badly you want to say what it is.
Anyway, but there would be, I suppose there would be something cool to be able to like actually move your body rather than like fucking waddling everywhere that I have to do at the moment.
General strength and conditioning.
What is that?
Just doing your barbell movement. Being used to barbell movements, then our accessories would be like rows and slam balls. So you're getting your own.
Yeah, and you're doing a bit of conditioning in there.
Yeah.
I like that. Just general strength.
As soon as you start doing that, you want to do a sport though, because you're like, right,
Yeah.
I'm getting strong and I can move now.
High
I can move
rocks
in different
probably.
planes, so I'm gonna do something.
What is high rocks compared to like CrossFit?
It's grand.
I think CrossFit, some guy like sexually assaulted someone or said something like
What?
racist.
Wait, hold on.
The owner of CrossFit like said something racist or something, and everyone was like, "No, we don't like CrossFit anymore." Something like that. There was some scandal.
Ooh.
There was some scandal back.
Man,
way
everyone
back
up
when.
top does that shit. As soon as they get to the top, they're like,
I was watching.
they choose the discrimination to do.
It was on Disney Plus, and have you ever watched Fantasia? So it's like it's from 1940s. Okay, for some reason I had this like in my brain that I like watched it when I was younger, and I was like, "What is this?" It was made in 1940, and when you like click into it, it's like there's content in this movie that is racist and includes stereotypes that were not okay back then, and they're still not okay.
The 1940s, man.
But instead of taking the content down, we leave it here to open up a discussion. Ooh,
Where is it?
It's on Disney Plus.
What?
Fantasia. Yeah, but they took out the racist bit. So they edited it out, but I don't know why they still had the...
In black and white, obviously.
No, it was like OG animation. It was weird. It's like
Animation.
it was like an orchestra kind of thing. Black and white, obviously. Jeez. What do you mean by that? Anyway.
I mean, color. The first color movie was Wizard of Oz.
Was it? When was that?
Said, I do not mourn George after the death of
Oof.
George Floyd's.
Oh, yes. The CrossFit guy.
Why did he say that?
Why would you say that? Yeah, so the CrossFit
He was getting
guy.
angry at everyone supporting people. He was like, nah.
Yeah, so the CrossFit guy, he fucks up.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's where High Rocks came from, anyway.
yeah. So that's what I guess it is. It's just like an alternative to CrossFit now, is it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the most similar, anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man, I train a guy that does.
High rocks.
Yeah. Man, he was already pretty jacked. He's put on so much muscle.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm really good at high rocks. I can run,
Yeah.
but I want to be stronger and like put on some muscle.
Yeah.
Put on so much muscle.
Fuck.
He's 48. Man,
Shit.
guys put on so much
Yeah.
muscle, so much muscle.
And how has that affected the running or the aerobic side of things?
So he like stopped running as much
Okay.
because he was loving
Yeah,
lifting.
yeah.
So he
And
brought
now
it.
he's a powerlifter.
He runs in sleeves. But no, he's like balancing it out now. So he does like a strength session with me, high rocks,
Yeah.
run,
Shit.
and then
Cool.
repeats.
Very cool.
Man, it is cool.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just impressive talking about like hybrid or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Not for me. But
yeah, no, man, I run up the stairs and I have to lie down on my bed, bro.
yeah.
I was thinking that, like running a 5K, like someone asked me like, oh, would you run the 5K with me? And it's like, I think that would put me out for a week. I couldn't squat for like 5 days after that, I'd say.
When I started doing in-person personal training, it was in like a private studio, so I was shadowing the guy who like owned the place, and this guy must have been
60.
high 60 kilos, right?
Oh, kilos.
Like high 60. The guy who owned the gym, who
Man,
was like doing the
there's
classes.
nothing high in the 60 kilos.
So yeah, he's the upper range of like 60 kilos. And he was doing these like group classes, so they're like an hour-long session. And towards the end of the session, as like a bit of a finisher, there was like a long like laneway out the back of the gym, maybe like a few hundred, maybe 200 meters or something.
Oh.
So you'd go out, and you'd like run to the end of the lane, run back, come in, do a set of like dumbbell thrusters or something, and then go out and do another lap of the thing, come in, do another set, go out, do another thing, and then you'd like run half the way, run back, blah, blah, blah. So you'd end up doing maybe like 10 laps of that lane in that finisher. And then there was like 3 sessions. But since I was shadowing, I had to do it as well. Yeah. The next day, my feet, my ankles, my knees, my hips, and my lower back were all fucked.
Like
I
destroyed,
couldn't train for like 3 days.
Yeah.
They were just like so sore. They'd taken a pounding. And I was in my like Vivos as well, I think. So I was like sprinting up and down this like stony lane.
Man, this had to be years ago, right?
It was probably, I would have been like 95 kilos, I'd say. It was like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
3
even
years
then, that's pretty. And especially when you're not trained to run.
Yeah.
Man, like if we just
I hadn't
started
run in
yeah,
years,
if we just started running like 500 meters for a week and then 700 meters, you could build up.
Tolerance, like.
But all of a sudden,
To do whatever it was.
yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible. And then I said to him, I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Man, I would have said that from the get-go.
Yeah. And then
And they're like, go on, you have to do it. And
I
you're
was like, nope. And that was where the excuse of, I'm an international level athlete.
yeah, that's the real reason
Comes in.
Andrew
Yeah.
Cardiff says not to run.
Fat bastard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that was that. Right, what else do we have to talk about? Anything? Will we jump into these questions?
I had a question on that list that I'll just ask you now before we get into it. Okay, so I saw a video.
I know
It
what
was,
it's gonna be.
it was, would you eat 6 hot dogs a day for, like every day, for $1 million?
6 hot dogs every day for $1 million.
For a year?
For a year, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think the obvious answer is like, yeah, easy,
Okay.
right? Multiplying the amount of hot dogs.
no, I'm taking $1 million, dividing it by 365. You're getting paid €2,740 a day to eat 6 hot dogs. Brother, I'm eating them all at once.
Man, I think, you
The
know.
Glizzy Guardian, man. I gotta be. Well, for €2,740 a day, you best believe I'm eating 6 hot dogs.
Have those glizzies raw, boy. Okay, so that's what I thought though as well. I was like, I would probably eat. I think I could eat 20 hot dogs a day.
Yeah.
For that much, probably more, right? Yeah. So, how much would you need to be paid to eat 6 hot dogs a day?
Okay,
What's
so
the
can
minimum?
I check as well? Am I getting paid like a wage, or is this getting paid in a lump sum at the end?
Ooh.
Do I get paid weekly? Do I get paid bi-weekly?
Lump
Do I get paid
lump
monthly?
sum, but the hot dogs are free. So if you complete the task,
So after 1 year, you get
after 365 days, you get it on New Year's Day.
Fuck. Okay.
Because, yeah, that's too easy. Because then you could just, if you're getting paid a salary, you could just stop. And you've
I
already-
would say minimum wage.
You would do it for minimum.
I'd do it for minimum wage. Because then I wouldn't have to work. Like, you wouldn't have to do
So-
work. You just have to eat. You
But
just
are we
clock
talking-
in, you eat 6 hot dogs, then you're done work for the day. Like,
But like, yeah, but you clock out then after like 10 minutes of eating them, no?
yeah, exactly. Easy. And then you just go about your day.
And
and then
so how much are you getting paid then? Like a full day's work?
Okay.
For
What
4
is?
weeks.
I'd say minimum wage in Ireland. Like the minimum salary is probably like
You're getting like
30
400
grand
a week, right?
30 grand, yeah. Like it for the year.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Honestly, sounds like a lot. For
Yeah.
minimum wage.
627.
Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's call it 26. You would take 26K? T6 hot dogs?
See, how would I survive for that year? I'd need to be working a part-time
Yeah,
job
no.
while I'm nomming the glizzies. Like,
Nomming the glizzies. No, you do your life. And then
but I don't have any money for that year unless I'm working another job. Like.
for the what? For the glizzies?
Yeah, I'm thinking, could I replace my job with eating hot dogs?
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's, I'm saying, okay, what's the minimum you would do? Man, honestly, if someone told me I had 10K waiting for me,
If you ate 6 hot dogs for a year.
yeah.
Brother, you're devious, man. That's disgusting.
I'm the glizzy gobbler, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Would
reminded me
you
of
turn down?
10 grand.
Yeah.
I'd take it as well.
Yeah, I feel like I'd probably do it for less.
I'd do it for free, maybe. You supply the hot dogs.
I already do 6 hot dogs a day. 6 more hot dogs, or
yeah.
the same 6 hot dogs?
That reminded me of a question that I can't ask on the podcast. But
Oh my God. Whisper it to me.
But I've been watching. I've been loving watching. Do you ever see on like Lad Bible? They do the minutes with. So they do an interview. It's like 26 minutes with like an ex-gang member.
They do an interview and just the title is just the minutes.
So yeah, it's called like 12 minutes with someone who broke out of prison.
Yeah.
5 minutes with a drug dealer.
Yeah.
2 minutes with an ex-gang member.
With
So
Liam Neeson or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did Bugsy Malone or something.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So I've been watching those, and then there was another kind of thing that these people tell the craziest stories. There's some guy who went on like a polar expedition, and he like had to cut his fingers off. Anyway, yeah, because they froze. Like
He definitely didn't need to. He just did it. He was like, guys, it was so cold, and everybody else is like, what?
Put your gloves on. Yeah, so like stuff like that, or a guy who broke out of like a Vietnamese prison. They were meant to like execute him the next day, and he like oiled himself up and like slid through the bars and stuff. And then like went through a moat and stuff like this, like these crazy stories.
Nice.
And then there's like an honesty box they did, like they just asked these questions to like a nun, and she like gives these answers. Or like there was like a severely like elderly prostitute.
Oh, we should start getting those people on.
Yeah. So there was
8
one
minutes
like
with the librarian or whatever. We just like have them on.
Yeah. So I've been watching those, but then I was like, okay, I need to like graduate. So then I started. Have you ever watched Soft White Underbelly? Have you ever heard of that? Yeah.
Man, I don't know, bro.
Have you ever heard of that? Soft White Underbelly. Nope. It's a YouTube channel, and it's this guy in America, and he interviews like the craziest like cross section of people. Like he'll be interviewing drug addicts. He'll interview like sex workers. He'll interview pimps. He'll interview like war veterans, victims of like sexual, like crazy cross section of people.
Yeah, people that do CrossFit and stuff.
Yes, those kind of weirdos. Hopefully that picked up. Anyway, so I don't know why I was listening to these, because they're actually traumatizing. They're like hour-long interviews of people with like absolutely horrific
Extreme
stories.
trauma.
Yeah, and in my brain I was like, these videos are making me more empathetic. But to be honest, I think I've just like absorbed the trauma of like 50 different people now. And there was like 4 days where I was just like going through life just completely in a haze. Yeah.
Really?
Fully like
man.
traumatized from listening to it, so I can't listen to them anymore. And Jocko, I'd listen to the Jocko podcast when I'm like, just not, if I was in the car, I'd put it on, or if I was making food, I'd put it on to keep me occupied. And it's just like war stories. It's like the worst atrocities in the world. I'm like, why am I actually listening to this? I'd go through like a week of listening to it, and I'm like, I actually just feel horrible about the world.
Can you imagine like experiencing firsthand the war crimes, or like consistently? Can you imagine how cold the people must be? Like we only see it in like movies, like characters that see all this shit. It's like, can you imagine what life is like after that?
Yeah.
Weird, I'd say.
Great. Some of the stories of people who are like prisoners of war and things like that. Like the conditions that they're put through, and having to like march through the jungle, and there's things like eating their feet and all. It's crazy stuff.
Eating what?
There was one story, I can't even remember. I probably shouldn't even say this on a podcast. It's so great. There was a guy who was he was in like a prisoner of war camp, and he was looking for the toilet, like I think they call it like the latrine or something. Basically, it was just a trench, like a trench that they all had to like, they'd go and they'd do their number one and their number two just in the trench. And
Any toilet paper?
Doubt it. This guy was looking for the guy, pointed him like around the corner, and the guy like goes up on the edge of the trench trying to do his business, like slips into the trench, falls into it, and this thing is like feet deep though. So he's sinking in it, and he's eating like a few grains of rice like every few days. So he's like so weak. He's actually sinking in it. He's about to die. Like he's about to die. He's like screaming for help, right? So it just happened that someone was like nearby, heard him, grabbed him in. Brother, apparently he was like up to his eyeballs in dookie. This guy pulls him out of the fucking shit. He pulls him out of the shit and like saved him. But it was like a white prisoner, and it was like a black prisoner that helped pull him out, and that wasn't allowed. Like they were meant to be like on different sides of the camp or something. So then the black prisoner got like taken away, and he got in trouble after saving your man. Crazy shit. And I'm listening to this while I'm eating my fucking lunch. Like I'm eating, I'm eating my bagels.
Man,
like you're like, that's crazy.
No.
Man.
You're like angry that you had to cook the bagels.
And then this guy almost drowned in Hugh.
Poo. And in the poo he just did as well.
Oh, crazy stuff. Crazy. Well, like, why am I listening to that?
Ugh.
Anyway, yeah. I feel like it makes me more enlightened and empathetic towards
And
other
yeah, it
people's
makes
struggles.
the problems you have maybe seem not so big.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Wow.
enough of that. How the hell did we get talking about
Man, I feel like we've been on this podcast for a while.
about 5 hours?
Yeah.
Right, let's just answer some questions that are lifting related. Oh God, right, I need to decompress for a second. Do you have the questions there?
I do not know. Hold on.
Okay, I'll ask the first question if you like.
Rocky Johnson.
How do you deal with fear/doubt/negative self-talk before big lifts? Okay, before we give like an actual answer to this, have you ever experienced this? I would get it all the time in the home gym because I wouldn't have a spotter.
Yeah.
I'd be like going for a big squat and I'd be like, what if I failed this and I just fell face first into the ground and broke my nose and, and knocked all my teeth out? Like, whoa, what would I do if I did that? And
Have I ever thought that, or what would you do?
I would think that often right before I'd go to the set. I'd be like, what if I fell right now and both my knees blew out and there was no one around, like there's no one home who could like rescue me? I would. Have you ever like had that thought go through your brain?
Often I would think, especially on like third squats in comp.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'd say my first probably 8 competitions, all of them, on every third squat, I thought, as I took it out, I'm not getting this, and on the way down, I'm not coming back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way. Like,
And then you get it.
yeah, it's like, you know that feeling of like when you're taking like 200, it's like you can brace and it's like your decentric feels perfect. It's like at that 100%, I actually feel like I'm completely YOLOing it. It's like I have no control
hoping
over
for the
this.
best. Hoping
I'm
for the
just,
best.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I cannot do what I normally do. So it's just like,
Hopefully I stand back up
yeah,
and then you
normally
get
happens,
it. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So how do you deal with negative self-talk before big lifts?
I don't.
You just hope for the best.
Yeah, I do genuinely just hope for the best. I bring myself to a point of arousal that I'm so distracted and all I can think about is like the beat, the music, and like I'm just so
In the zone.
yeah, I'm just so ready to lift this. That yeah, because if I'm not that hyped up, like say it's a regular training session, man, I'm so flat, and it's like that's when I'll get those thoughts. And it's like, okay, day to day, like average top set at like RP 6, I'm not going to think it, but I'll still be flat if I'm not hyped up. So yeah, I think the hyping myself up helps avoid it.
Yeah.
I don't really get it just before I lift. It's literally during the lift that I'll get it.
That's fucking. I suppose it's so short though in that instance that like you.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's on my back now. I'm on the way down now. It's like, yeah.
What can you do? Other than
I'll just let
try
my
to-
body take the wheel. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'd say there's probably like a couple of layers to it. Maybe initially with like your preparation, if you have done everything and you believe yourself that you've done everything right, or you've done almost everything that you could have done in the preparation to make yourself perform as best as possible, you can rely on that a little bit. You can kind of think back to all the training sessions you've done. Kind of, we talked about that story before of the guy who like put the X's in the calendar for all the training sessions he's done, and he had 1,000 X's in all of the days, blah, blah, blah. So that's probably helpful initially, just putting in the best work you can each day so that when you're approaching those lifts that you can just rely and take comfort in the fact that you've done everything that you could have done. There's a book that I read, I don't know if I've talked about it on here, called The 4 Agreements. It's a real good book. They're basically like 4 rules for life. And one of the rules is to like be impeccable with your word. And basically the way they describe it is like, don't use your word to like do anything or say anything that will harm yourself. So don't go through this like negative self-talk, don't beat yourself down, like look for ways to build yourself up. So whenever I find myself like going through any negative self-talk or doing anything that will like bring me down. If I'm hating on myself, I always just like try to remind myself, like, be impeccable with your word. Don't be your own worst enemy. So that's helpful as well for myself. So go read that book, The Four Agreements. And then I found for the last like couple of competitions, as I was gaining body weight and I was like getting bigger and getting heavier, when I would come into train or I'd come in to like take a big set, I would like find myself almost like repeating in my head like an affirmation that I'm the biggest, strongest, and like most capable that I had ever been. Because every time that I was coming in, I was the heaviest body weight that I ever was, and I was gradually moving up in that direction. So I was like, every time I came into the gym, I would just remind myself, like, you are actually in the best physical position that you've ever been your whole life. There's no reason that this weight should move anything other than well, because you're doing everything right. You are, again, the biggest, strongest, most capable that you've ever been. And I'd just repeat that over and over, and that would generally put me in a good headspace.
I like it. Yeah, I like that kind of going back on experience. Those like X's, obviously.
Yeah.
And then having this undeniable,
Stack of
I'm
proof,
doing everything I can.
Yeah. So do that. It's a difficult one though. It's not easy to overcome negative self-talk. I'd say it's like you have to practice it. You know, you have to keep trying to make your internal dialogue more positive. It's work. Like you have to.
Yeah, it definitely expands way beyond training though as well. That I think if you're allowing negative self-talk, not allowing, that makes it sound like it's a very like conscious decision. But if it's cropping up in your day-to-day normal activities, training's going to be no different. You know, and it's going to be probably hard to change it in training if it happens all the time.
Everywhere else. Yeah. So be impeccable with your word. Don't be your own biggest hater. Don't beat yourself down. Look for positives. Yeah. Read that book. All right. How do you define success in powerlifting? Oosh.
This is a weird one because in like the way we opened up the podcast, like how do you even define an end to powerlifting? Like, are you done at any one point? Like, okay, let's say someone wins world championships. I suppose that's the like pinnacle, right? So could you just stop? Or if you're never going to win world championships, if that's never going to be you, what is your end point? At what point have you achieved what you wanted to achieve? And then, okay, that's like the end point. Like, how are you succeeding on a more regular basis? It's interesting. It's kind of come to me recently. I never framed it in the sense of success. Rather, okay, well, if I haven't made numerical progress in X amount of time, I'm not achieving.
Yeah, you're not successful.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. What just comes to mind for me, like what would be successful is, again, just bring it back to like that process orientation. Like if you're giving your best effort with all of the different variables, then you can probably take like comfort and pride in that you're on the path and the journey is the destination. So the journey, you're constantly having those successful days of doing all the work that you need to do. That's probably the mindset that is most helpful for me to try have. But what is success? Yeah, it is an interesting one, and I'd say it's very individually based from person to person. Because before, if you had asked me when I was a young whippersnapper, what is success, it would have been if I was a world champion and I was the best ever and I had all the records and I yada yada. But now it's if I'm just happy, and say success in powerlifting is if I'm happy for the journey. What is success in life for you? What would be a successful life?
I was only about to say, man, then it makes me think success has to be individually defined. Because when I bring it to the question of like, what's a successful life?
Yeah.
What is the meaning?
What is the meaning of life?
That's obviously like an abstract question, I think. But what's success in life, full stop?
What's success in life to you?
Yeah, that's has to be individualized.
And what is it? I'm curious. What would be a successful life to you?
It is. There's more abstract, like happiness and things like this, where no matter the specifics, as long as I'm happy. And then there's like, is there anything that I actually want to do?
Like tangible things to tick off.
It's going to sound like maybe like cliche, but I feel like love.
Yeah.
I feel like loving both giving love and then someone loving you like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, obviously romantic comes to mind, and that's probably in my mind is like having like a romantic partner to share your life with.
Yeah.
But then there's also the love of like your friends.
Yeah, your
So,
community.
Yeah, your community and things like that, they come to mind. So love, happiness, because I can't say now specifically, oh, like, you know, finishing my master's and being X psychologist, because it's like, I don't know what the next 10 years is going to look like, but as long as I'm pursuing what I believe makes me happy with loved ones around me, I think that's...
And what if you're sad? Is that an unsuccessful life?
Man, have you watched Inside Out?
No.
Man, watch Inside Out. We're not finished it yet.
Yeah.
We've been watching it, and there's a character in it, because they're all the emotions in her head.
Yeah.
And there's joy, and then there's sad.
Yeah.
There's sadness, or whatever her name is. And she's made out to be this useless character for the first half of the movie, until one of the characters is sad and won't do anything, and she like goes up to it and is like, oh, why are you sad? And like acknowledges how sad the character is, and then the character's ready to move on. And Joy is like, I thought you were useless. Like, what did you do? And she was like, oh, I just talked about like sadness. So no.
It's a necessary
Literally
part
watched that
of
last
the-
night, but it is a very necessary, because
human
without sadness, there
experience.
is no joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, like,
Philosophical up in his
man, why don't they just kill the sadness character? Like, let her,
murder that bitch. Get rid of her.
let her fall into the void of like forgotten, right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, bro, the ground was like breaking. I was like, get her, right? Because she was ruining everything. But then I was like, well, in reality, without sad and without fear,
what is happening?
like all those emotions are actually necessary. Because I saw another thing recently, or someone said it. It was like being brave isn't the absence of fear. It's being scared and doing it anyway. That's being brave. So you actually have to have the negative for the positive.
Yeah, if you're pretending to be brave, but you're actually like scared inside, but you're like acting to be brave and you do an action even though you're scared. From the outside, it looks as though you're brave, but then inside you're scared of doing it. But then it's the mix of those two emotions that actually makes the whole. Yeah.
So sadness is, no, you're not unsuccessful if you're sad.
Yeah. And it's a normal and necessary part of the human experience.
Do you feel sad often?
Do I feel sad often? Not often, I would say, but sometimes. Yeah.
Like, what is the most common negative emotion you experience?
What is stress? What is the feeling of being stressed? Being overwhelmed or being preoccupied or being...
Yeah, maybe hard to apply an emotion to that.
Yeah.
Often
but
tagged with an emotion.
that feeling of...
Byproduct of disappointment.
Could be. Anxiety, maybe. Would anxiety be an emotion?
Yeah, like
anxious.
emotion, whatever. I'd say fear ties to anxiety because you're just fearing.
Yeah. I'd say like anxiety of the future, what what the future holds. That's probably the most common one. Yeah. Sadness, not too often, but I would say I would have had that mindset younger, where if I was sad, it was like, this is like the bad emotion that you shouldn't have. You need to get away from this emotion and get to the happy emotion. But now, I would say more often, if I am sad about something, it's just like, it's okay. That's all right. It's meant to happen. So, yeah. What about you? What would be the most frequent negative emotion?
I say negative. That's us.
Attributing
like valence to it, but it's like those that are difficult to experience. I'd say anxiety. Like unnecessary fear and like almost negatively framed contemplation. Excessively. Like sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's sparked by something, sometimes it's not. And either way, it's usually excessive and unnecessary.
What's there some saying about like worrying about something is putting down payment on a problem that you may never actually own. Yeah, that was a good idea for myself. Like worrying about the future, you could be stressing yourself, and the stress is actually worse than what the actual situation would be.
Elicit. And it's, you know what though?
And you may actually never even have that problem that does come about.
Man, that's when I feel anxious is I'm creating things that don't actually exist. Never mind, might never, it's that they actually do not. And my brain is going, okay, well, if. How bad would you feel if? And I had that recently. I was actually sat there, I was like, I was reflecting on it. I was like, man, my brain is being so mean right now. It's like, what if this is what's going, like, you know.
So this is another one that's in that book, the 4 Agreements. Don't assume anything.
Yeah.
Don't, because there's so often that I would stress myself out or create these like anxious feelings about something that I have no idea whether it is true or not.
Yeah.
I'm just completely
Assuming.
creating a scenario in my head that makes myself feel worse for no reason, that I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I feel like at its core, it's this preparatory defensive mechanism of, okay, well,
This could happen.
yeah, we're too smart and complex though. Is that instead of saying, oh well, you know, that water might fall over. That's not all we're thinking about. It's like, what if this person dies? It's like, and then we create the situation of how that would happen, and then we believe it because we create it in a believable way. When, like you're saying, no idea that this thing could happen.
Yeah.
So I've learned that, especially in like interpersonal context, is make no assumptions, because not only are you typically wrong, but just it's easier said than done, but it pays off. Like say, like, okay, we'll use one another just for the sake of, because we're right here. It's like, okay, either why did Andrew say that? Why did he say it like that? Or why did he say nothing? It's like, if I assume the answer to those, I'm more than likely wrong, and it's also more than likely negative.
Yeah, you're going to assume the worst case
So that I can defend myself. Where you need to assume like good faith.
Yeah.
If you're going to assume anything, assume Andrew's busy, or Andrew did not mean it how I think he might mean it, or any number of reasons in your favor, you know.
And that's something that I try to do now as well, and it's not perfect and it doesn't always work, but unless someone has said something directly to me, like explicitly said it, why would I believe that that is what they intended to do? And sometimes you can go between it, you can go, maybe I have to read between the lines of what this person meant. But now I'm just taking it, if someone hasn't said something to me, how could I believe otherwise? Like, if they have not said something directly to me, I just have to take it at face value, what they said.
I would say that's gonna win most of the time.
Yeah.
I think nothing even comes to mind right now, but there are some contexts, even positive ones, non-negative, whatever, where, like, say, they might say, oh, I don't want anything in the shop or something. Yeah. And, like, you get them chocolate anyway, and they're going to be happy with the chocolate. Something along those lines. Like, that's okay to read between the lines or whatever. Yeah. But, like, for the most part, yeah.
If I'm assuming, if I notice myself taking on, like, negative emotions or that anxious feeling,
yes,
then I would say
that's a great time to do it.
Yeah, if the person hasn't said directly, don't assume what the meaning was or what the intent was.
Yeah. And then if it is required of you to then know that, they will tell you.
Yeah.
Probably oversimplifying some contexts, but right now, that's, I feel like that makes sense. Yeah, safe,
Yeah, it's an interesting one. How the fuck did we get onto that?
Time check?
Probably an hour and a half, maybe, if I had to guess. An hour and a half.
Cool.
We'll go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
How important is technique compared to raw strength in powerlifting?
I think it depends, because what comes to mind is, you know, let's say people leveraged very well for a deadlift, for instance, right? Then it might look like technique doesn't matter because, oh my God, they just raw strength it. But like, if I just try use my raw strength in like what I would consider a less favorably leveraged body, it's like, it's not gonna fare too well.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Like, separating them is hard because you express your raw strength through your technique.
You do.
Your technique is how you express your strength.
And ideally, you would set it up so that you can express as much raw strength as possible.
Yeah.
But then there is a tipping point where, you know, okay, here's an example that comes to mind, is I like when people's technique is not so far over, if we create a spectrum of technique to raw strength, it's not so far over onto technique that it's vulnerable to, you know, if they don't set up 100 or 99.9% correctly, that it feels shit. Yeah. Where there's enough raw strength being used that for my bench, even though I know looking at my bench, it looks like I'm probably like big arch, oh my God, he's all technique. But like, I'll be wobbling and shit. Or like, you know, different, I get lift out, so it's like different every time. I like feel different every time I bench press. But I'm like, well, I know if I just grip the bar hard and bring my elbows here, it's, you know, I'll muscle through it.
There's it's resilient. The technique is resilient to those variations in the in execution. Yeah. So again, when you keep that like idea of the spectrum, I think where the conversation comes into like raw strength compared to technique is not trying to put all your eggs like in the basket of optimizing technique at the expense of just getting bigger and getting stronger, which there's a guy who's on the same team as me, Team Flex, who, Devin Williams, he's under 120. Yeah, he's under 120, came second to Bob at their nationals. He benches like 270 or something. He posts a lot about like, just get stronger. Stop worrying about like your foot was slightly over here instead of there. Just get stronger, get bigger, build more muscle, get stronger. And I would say in most instances, I would lean towards that camp. Rather than trying to like super over optimize technique. And when your technique is fine, it is efficient enough for you to express pretty much as much strength as you can. Trying to then find like some 1% where you end up spinning your wheels with training for a number of weeks or a number of blocks because you're trying to do the ultra wide Japanese grip on your bench press when you could just eat a bit more food and get bigger and get stronger.
Couple things happen when you're looking for that 1% is if someone tells you they know the 1% that you need to be better, it's shite because there's no way from looking at someone do you know if they change this tiny thing about the technique that it's going to be perfect. So A, you're searching for a needle in a haystack, but B, conscious processing theory is once you start to think and you basically revert to a beginner. Because a beginner doesn't know the technique, whereas as you develop, it becomes intuitive, it becomes subconscious. But then when you make it conscious again, you become a beginner again, and you become worse. Golf swing is always the perfect example. Is like a professional golfer is not running through the steps of swinging. They have like
2 cues, like
breathe,
put my feet
look,
here.
go, and it's like that'll be it, whatever their cues are, right? So when we are looking for the 1%, needle in a haystack, and then conscious processing theory, once you start thinking, it's going to go worse anyway. You could subvert both of those by just saying, well, it's suited me until now. So how about I just get stronger?
And then if there come back to like if there's one big thing that you can do that will guaranteed improve how strong you are, is just build more muscle. Just get bigger. Like put your efforts into that one thing that you know guaranteed is going to make you get better, rather than. And I find it so often with people who are like trying to get really nitty gritty about the technique. It just creates like so much negative emotion and stress because it comes in, doesn't feel right, and you go back to that feeling like a beginner again, and then you hate it, and then you have this like anxiety approaching the session when you know you have to do this lift that isn't feeling good, and you step up to the bar when you're deadlifting, and you're like, what the hell do I do with my hands? Where do I put my feet? And it just feels awful, and then you don't enjoy the movement anymore, and then you don't enjoy going to the gym anymore, and then the whole outlook of it becomes negative, and it's not good.
Funny, that actually sounds like a silly example of, where do I put my hands? Man, I'm sure you can relate to this. When you start to question your technique, I'll walk up to the bar and I kind of like flex at the hips and knees and I'm like, that feels weird. And then I like grip the bar, I'm like, wait. Like,
and then you try pull and then
does
the
that
bar
feel
just
right in my hands?
Doesn't move.
Oh, it's crazy.
I've had that like multiple times.
Yeah.
And then you're like standing over the bar for like a minute being like,
like where do I normally
do? Like,
man, in those instances, if you're ever in this position, unless you are doing something crazy wrong, which 99% of the time you're not, just pull it. Literally just
Stop thinking.
just pick it up. Even if it looks worse on camera and it's like it's not your normal technique, it'll probably revert back to normal. And you're just doing something weird for whatever reason. Your body, maybe your back is tired, so you're doing something else with flexion in other parts of your body to compensate for the tiredness. Just leave it. Just let it happen.
Yeah, and then there's obviously the caveat of like a very beginner. So they will need to practice their technique to make sure that it is efficient enough, meets competition standards. There's not some glaring like area that they need to improve. But provided it's not causing pain, they're meeting the comp standard, they're their technique is not so bogey that it's like limiting the amount of weight that they can lift. Just
Man,
run with that and keep getting bigger.
can
and
you
stronger.
do a Jefferson deadlift in competition?
What is that? Is that one leg over?
Yeah.
No.
Why? What rule is the break?
Good question. Don't know. Shoulders must be in something. I don't know. I'll actually read the rule book after and try to find that out.
Don't worry.
Squat.
It has to be, the rule is
On
like
your
bar
back,
on
has
back.
to be on your back.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Can you like underhand bench press?
No, don't think so.
It says no?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever done that?
I
Stupidest feeling
tried
I've
it
ever done.
once. I think I tried it once.
I tried it with like 40 kilos, and it's not the weight, it's the feeling.
Yeah.
like-
But I've seen people do like 140 with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mad.
Crazy.
Maybe I'll do that when I quit powerlifting.
You'll see it on Anna's Instagram next week.
How do you stay motivated when progress seems slow?
You know what's weird is that was a question, like, why am I even still going? And it actually came to like, what else am I doing? that's obviously not an answer. That's not something I can tell you to do.
Yeah.
But it's like this many years in, like, okay, I was like 15 when I started, and I'm 22.
Yeah.
It actually got to the point of like, man, okay, let's say I believe that I'm not really making any progress. It's like, what am I going to do, bro? Not come to the gym? I'm not going to come to the gym. Okay, so let's say I'm like, fuck this, I'm pulling out of the competition. I'm going to squat tomorrow. It's like, I'm not going to not squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yeah.
I actually don't. So what I like pretty much put my block together just so I could tolerate training until I'm like heavier again, right? And I was like, okay, I'll just put it together with things I love doing and nothing I don't like doing. It looks the exact same. I was like, I'm going to put this together exactly how I believe.
Yeah, how I
looks
want
the
it.
exact same. So that's it. That's it's all. I know that's not an answer, and we'll Andrew and I now will give some tangible intervention answers. But personally, when I'm not motivated, I just try and enjoy other parts of my life until the motivation comes back. Because it sounds our lives are set up in a way that training just happens. Like I go to the gym Monday through Saturday. Even if it feels shit, even if I hate the time that I'm there, or I deadlifts feel terrible, or when it feels great, it Monday through Saturday, it just happens. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that as well. I'm not trying to sound like some fucking superhero. Is that like when you find such a routine,
And you've been doing it for years. That's what we've done for years.
Yeah, in my cognition that if I didn't go, then it feels worse than not feeling motivated and going.
Yeah, so what to do when progress seems slow? I would say look at the main external variables that will contribute to your progress, I would say. Like your nutrition, like your sleep, like your general activity outside of the gym, like stress levels outside of the gym. So they're two big ones, I would say. A lot of the lifters that I have who are either in college or they're like in school doing exams, the stress of the exams, having to study for the exams, that's going to be something that is significantly impacting your training. And then beyond that, now that it's coming into summer, a lot of them are getting like summer jobs and they're working in bars and stuff. And they're like, oh my God, my training feels so shit. I'm like, yeah, because you're doing 30,000 steps a day now when you were doing 10,000, whatever it was before. So like look at those variables, see what you can identify from those variables, if there's anything that can be addressed or changed or optimized to get you back moving in the right direction, whether it's your body weight is trending down and you don't want it to be, okay, what sort of interventions can you make with your nutrition to make sure that you're getting in the required amount of calories to see your body weight trending upwards again? Or you're super duper stressed. Maybe there's not a whole ton that you can do about that because it's exam season, but can you set up your life that you're doing all the required amount of study to alleviate some of that pressure, that you're not having, again, that like anxiety in the lead up to the exam itself, but not doing the work and then feeling even more stress and just negative emotion, anticipating the thing rather than just doing the thing. Maybe that could help. Sleep, if you're sleeping only 5-6 hours a night, can you find interventions that will allow you to improve the length and the quality of your sleep? Try identify what variable is out of order, and then you can start to brainstorm potential interventions and solutions for it.
Something that comes to mind.
Yeah.
One of the interventions I made programming wise was that on my primary days, I pulled the volume back to an amount of sets that I know I can do quickly, that I deem enough to progress. The quickly though is one thing, because as you were speaking, I was like, right, maybe, you know, if you're demotivated because you're feeling you're not progressing, what can you progress? Maybe you could progress your curls, you could progress your pull downs, maybe you get an extra pull up over the next few weeks. You could look at those. But then it's like, oh, but I still have to go into the gym and do the squats that aren't feeling good. Make it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
For one of my lifters, I gave him, he basically didn't, he was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I like don't want to do it. I was like, okay, it sounds like you don't want to train. I was thinking, and then he was like, well, no, I do want to still do squat, bench, and deadlift, but like I was like, why okay, how about you just work up to a set?
Yeah.
Like do your warm ups all the way up
to
a set, and then you do your leg session, or you do your pull session as programmed. And he loved it and actually made a bit of progress. But if you're not making progress, A, you could just do a little bit less if it's really annoying you, or B, sometimes actually doing less or doing something very different to what you're doing is a solution as well.
Perfect. I like it. Right. What's next?
Hit me with one more.
Yeah.
Or more. Yeah, I said one more.
How do you handle unsolicited advice about your lifting in the gym? Oosh. Oosh.
As per social media, and actually clients of mine, feel like this is more of an experience that females get in public gyms. I hope not powerlifting gyms, but public gyms. It seems to be an encounter where like males will believe that either A, they're flirting and they just want to say something and they mansplain, or B, that they should. It's like they're making out this like damsel in distress thing, when chances are the female knows way more than them. And even if they don't, it's always in like a disrespectful way as well.
Condescending.
Strange. So
happened to Alana, my girlfriend. Recently in the gym, she was benching with a reasonable sized arch, and some guy came over, and this was like 2 exercises later. She had like moved on to something else, done some rows, then was doing like lat pull down, and the guy came over and like tapped her on the shoulder and was like, by the way, you need to keep your back flat on the bench because you're going to hurt your back. I can like show you how to do it if you want. Something along those lines. And she was like, no, I have a coach, I know exactly what I'm doing, see you later. What sort of like, to watch it, okay, obviously watching someone doing something from across the gym, letting that like sit in your mind, and then 20 minutes later go back over to the person and then try to tell them that they were like doing something wrong.
From a position of no authority.
Yeah.
There's there's like one situation that comes to mind where doing anything of the sort is reasonable, and it's where someone who like say so much experience, works in the gym, trainer, and there's a complete beginner who they know is a beginner doing something potentially unsafe. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, something that could potentially injure or like harm themselves or other people around them.
Like if I saw some 15-year-old kid and he's like, the dumbbells are nearly fucking flying behind him, I'm gonna go up.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Until someone asks you.
Yeah. Other than that, just keep it to yourself, brother. Stop. I've even had like times where I was given like unsolicited advice around like technique or something. And it's like, oh, you should actually like change your foot position to like this way, it'll be better. And kind of as we talked about, you can't do that. Like, oftentimes I think it comes from someone who has maybe tried something themselves or like something that worked for them, and they see someone else who is not them and then tells them that they should do it this way because that's what worked for them, and then it's so much better. And it's such an awkward position. And when I've had it happen to me, I'm like, I'm not going to do the thing that you told me to do because I know that it won't work for me and it won't feel good. But I don't want to seem like I'm blatantly ignoring your advice when you think you're right. But I have to. Like, I don't know the polite way to say, like, no. So you just end up saying, like, oh, I'm just doing what I've found, like, works for me. And like I just listen to my coach and I do that.
You're giving people so much time there, though.
Awkward.
Like, I think people have a presumption that you have to give people time.
Yeah.
It's like, you could still be respectful and be like, oh no, it's all right, thanks.
Yeah. I'd say that's actually.
You pretty much set up your boundary there, and then they keep crossing it. Sorry, man, I'm going to need you to like leave my space here.
Look at this. Look at this psychology boy. How come you didn't do that to the fellow who was hooting and hollering behind us with Theo on?
Oh, you know why I actually didn't say anything there? Because I was afraid he's going to do it even worse.
Yeah, fair.
I was like trying to see would someone like a staff that were walking around come over.
Yeah, address it.
It's like you turn around and he's
And
like,
then now I know him. Yeah, he did shut up when he was.
yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. Right, one more, right, and non-powerlifting related.
Oh no.
What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Probably eat like 10 hot dogs a day.
Bing, bang, boom.
What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? Geez, well, you'd probably go for a job that makes you like 10 million a year.
I was
wouldn't
going
you?
to say that. That's like the easy answer,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
I would become a gazillionaire. I'd become the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
But would that make you happy? Oosh.
It would.
Fail, so I guess.
Yeah, it would make
I'd
me
become the
happy
happiest man.
financially.
Yeah.
But
Well,
obviously,
At what point do you think, at what like number of monies do you think happiness is no longer like ascending? Does that make sense? I think you get what I mean.
yes. I do
At
get
what
you mean.
threshold does having more money not make you any happier?
The amount of money at which you, like, kind of would owe nothing, I would never run out.
Yeah. I think I saw like a report or a study or something where they asked all sorts of different people. They asked people who were making 20 grand a year, they asked people who were making 100 grand a year, they asked people who were making $1 million a year. Almost everyone said about twice as much as they're making at the moment.
Really?
Regardless if they were making 10 million or they were making 20,000.
You know, all
Almost
that
everyone
does
said.
is like it basically puts them so that they can afford how they're living now plus a little bit.
Yeah.
But then all that happens is like you then
Yeah.
live slightly
And
beyond your
then,
means again.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a slippery slope, isn't it?
It is slippery slope.
Because when we were talking about like what is success, we've been like taught that like money, money is success.
Yeah.
But is it? Is it?
And very clearly, as you grow up,
Mm-hmm.
even from a young age, I feel like that was like drip fed to me that like, oh no, money isn't happiness or money can't buy happiness. That's such a
Yeah,
cliche saying.
yeah.
As you get older, you really notice.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the type of car you drive and your happiness has like zero correlation.
That's an interesting one. The type of car you drive and the
Just
like,
for example,
the superficial kind of the
Yeah.
clothing that you wear or
it's
the
all bullshit. When it comes to your happiness, it is bullshit.
how many like super successful people addicted to drugs trying to find like that, trying to search for something.
Super successful, financially successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Searching for something more. Because money wasn't
Money's not it. It's love.
everything. Yeah.
I think it's love, bro.
Yeah.
From friends either. And
Yeah.
community. It doesn't have to, when I say love, it doesn't have to be your one and only.
Yeah.
It could just be feeling like you matter to
Yeah.
other people and other people matter to you.
Yeah, what was that? Bob Marley said something like that. He's a rich man because he's like rich in experience or something like that.
Nice.
So, I was gonna say something.
No, that's
Anyway,
cute. Oh,
yeah.
what were you going to say?
No. Anyway, something like that. Yeah. Well, what would I do if I couldn't fail? I don't know. Do you like?
Money aside.
Yeah,
Okay,
money aside.
money
What
aside.
would you do if you couldn't fail? I would create the biggest podcast in the world.
I was going to say probably what I'm doing right now in my life.
Yeah.
And like just pursue, because like if I couldn't fail powerlifting, just keep getting stronger. If I couldn't fail the podcast, we'd have the two
biggest.
Andrews experience.
Yeah.
And then
The two Andrews is
college, I'd be Dr. Andrew Rowe.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Personal life, I'd be the man. I'd
The
be
glizzy
man.
guzzler.
Whoa!
The man. Look, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's actually a good question, and to be honest, my answer would probably be similar. Like the path I'm on is pretty good. It's enjoyable. Like.
That's nice. That's actually good to hear. I think you asked me recently, you know, if you knew like you were dying in X number of years, would you be happy with how you're living now?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, actually, yeah.
Well, let's do that one again. If you knew you're going to die in 6 months.
6 months is so short that it's like you would then just go to living probably excessive, like beyond your means, just experiencing everything that currently you're okay waiting for, but you wouldn't be able to wait. So you would.
What would that look like for you?
Man, I'd probably, see what it feels like to ride a horse. feel like that's something that I see people doing in movies and stuff. And it's like,
Bareback or with a saddle?
whatever the horse wants.
Consensual horse riding.
What would I actually do? I think, honestly, going to like Florida, Universal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. And like pay for all the fast track and everything.
Oh, he's living it big.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
6 months, I'd probably try to like make a wish to meet someone I like. You know, like apply to make a wish and say, can you get me to meet someone?
Who would you want to meet? Who would you want to meet?
That's a great question. Probably Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Rocky.
Yeah. Man, he's old and he's lived a very dense life.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the documentary. on
Man,
it.
it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. You should watch it.
Yeah.
What about you?
What was the question?
What would you do if you only had 6 months to live?
Travel the world. Yeah, just go see.
Where comes to
see
mind?
everything.
Give me 5 places that come to mind quick.
South America.
Yeah.
I'd go like Brazil. I'd go Argentina.
Yeah,
I'd go.
count that all as
yeah,
one, to be
just okay.
Sorry. Oh, God.
Look at Asia. Okay, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to go to America. It's like, yeah, let's go to America.
Oh, it's out of pocket. Yeah, so I'd go like South America. I'd go do the 7 wonders of the world. I'd see them all.
Yeah. Have me right here, baby.
And then I'd go out in like a blaze of glory.
Last meal.
Oosh.
Last meal?
Death row meal. What would you go for?
Stop putting it on me, man. You
Okay,
talk for it.
I think I would probably not have something super nice because it'd make me want to like live more, so I could eat it more.
That's
I
the
just have like,
stupidest answer.
I just have
man.
like I'd have like toast or something.
So what's your favorite meal then? Huh? If you were to have your favorite meal tonight.
My favorite meal tonight, I actually think I will get this tonight. I'd get a butterfly burger from Nando's.
Nice.
I'd get 2 things of peri chips, garlic bread as well, and then a Sprite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let me think. If I could create my favorite meal, it would have to be some like really nice chicken burger. Probably like 2 slices of pizza, not too much. I don't want to feel sick. Okay. I'd have like a nice milkshake, like an Oreo milkshake.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is there a price cap on the death row meal? I think
man.
there was a guy, and maybe I'm making this up. Maybe this is just like something you see on like a YouTube short that's just totally not true. But some guy like ordered from like 8 different like fast food restaurants, and they had to go around to like all the places.
Nice.
And then I think I saw something that there's like a $30 like price limit on your death row meal now or something. Yeah.
$30.
Yeah.
Have you had Chick-fil-A before?
Chick-fil-A? No, I've never been to America.
Bro, yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I've never been to
So
America.
good, so good.
What would you get there?
What would I get in Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Man, you get like chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets, the waffle fries.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Nice.
Yeah. With
Nice.
their sauce. Yeah.
What was that the best like fast food place in America?
Yeah, probably.
What was the worst?
That was good. Panda Express was good. Did you ever hear Panda Express?
Is that like
It's like as you. As you can imagine, it was pandas.
so what type of cuisine is
No,
that?
it was actually like Asian cuisine, and
Is it actually?
Yeah, and you would you would choose like rice or noodles.
Which kind of Asian cuisine?
Rice and noodles. And there's like different kinds of like fried chicken in different sauces, like orange chicken and shit.
Yeah.
Korean barbecue chicken.
Yeah.
Beijing beef, and
Yeah. So Panda Express and fucking
and Chipotle was good as well.
Chipotle. Yeah. Okay. I can't even remember what questions we were asking. Death row meal. So that was your what was your death row meal? Slice of pizza.
I was hallucinating.
Chick-fil-A and fucking Panda Express is your
I
death
would
row meal.
have a chicken burger. Chick-fil-A sandwich will do the job.
Chick-fil-A sandwich is your death row meal.
That's so good.
Crazy.
A little bit of pizza.
Yeah.
Milkshake. Bit of juice.
What are you fucking 5?
Yeah,
In a sippy cup, like
Holding back here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably do the job.
Yeah. All right, fuck it, that'll do. This has been a ridiculous podcast. Oh, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. It might be another month, it might be a week. It might
No,
be...
we'll get a guest on here.
Yeah.
We'll get like the local librarian or whatever. Like 8 minutes with the librarian.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Adios.